with our Led Zeppelin presents.
Hi,
listening.
guys.
Hello.
You're excited. You should be excited.
Yeah, some of my favorite songs are on this album.
Oh, lovely.
Anyway, that's Dev there, the lovely Dev, and I'm the lovely Mike. And we are the lovely Music for Busy People. Last time we did Achilles' Last Stand. Check that out if you haven't. That's a classic.
That is a classic.
That is one of my favorites, of course, of all time.
And I'd never heard it all the way through until last time. I'm like, oh.
We have a new convert.
Oh.
Today we're finishing up side one of Presents for Your Life and Royal Orleans. For Your Life. I actually like this song a lot. I haven't heard it in a long time, so that's great. I can't wait to hear it again. But it is not a well-known song of theirs, I don't think. I don't think they ever did it live in concert, except their very, very final concert, the O2 concert in 2007. But besides that, it was just pretty much overlooked, but I think it's a great song. I think it's difficult to hear the lyrics in this one, but I think they're kind of dark for him.
Yay!
Hey.
It's my territory.
Even though there's mentions of drugs, I think the title, For Your Life, is like, yeah, but you know, your life's at stake. Unfortunately, the album did not provide lyrics, so we will not be providing lyrics because we are purists and we listen the way it came out when it came out.
Pooh!
But it's not surprising, given the situation he was in, that he wrote a dark song because, as we talked about in the last video, he was in a wheelchair during this, and he probably was not loving life at the moment.
No, being in chronic pain does some crazy things to you. Your mental state, your psyche, your just the whole self-talk going up in there. Will this ever end? Will it ever get better? Will I ever feel normal?
So this song has a really hard edge to it. It's like swampy and gloomy, and like I think that's why I like it. Plus, it's got awesome drumming on it. And of course, great guitar work. I don't know about the bass. I want to listen to the bass more closely this time around because I never listened to the bass much when I used to listen to Led Zeppelin. And now we present to you For Your Life, second song on Presents. Just love how it starts right in there with a hit. Yeah, the slide work is great. I'm liking the bass. It's got a little funk to it. That's interesting. Great riff, of course. There's a lot of long instrumental sections in this song.
The story behind this. Get the original feedback from the beginning of the song, which is satisfying. How to be a rock star. I love how he slides his voice a lot there too, to go along with the sliding guitar stuff. I really enjoyed that. That's an awesome song. Yeah, oh my God. I totally got lost in that. Isn't that something how that's never been a big song of theirs? It's just not a typical, I think it's just because it's atypical, people kind of overlook it. It's not a fast song, and it's not like a slow ballad. It's just sort of like their slow mid-tempo where they take their time with it. And most bands don't do songs like that because they can pull it off though. Mm-hmm. The structure of the song is very freeform. There's different sections, and there isn't really a chorus. And I don't even think the verses he sings them the same way. I think in the middle he just sings it a different way, and then he goes back to singing it. Yeah, and it sort of becomes a different song in the middle. Yeah, from what I heard, it had to do with, like you're a rock star and you're used to living a certain way of life, which means a lack of inhibition. Because you have so much more access and acceptance toward drugs and partying and sex, and you know you're revered, so you can do no wrong in many ways. And to me, it sounds like he's saying, "But I can't do this anymore. Like I can't do this. Don't ask me to do it." But you're there, and it's in the situation. You're like, "Oh man, I've done it every single time, hence, and it hasn't bugged me." And it's this slowly weaning away from a sense of impending doom. It also changes key in a strange place, like it modulates
which a song would typically do maybe towards the end when it wants to build tension, but it did it like way in the beginning. And then in the middle, it went back to the key, and then it modulated up again. He's singing the verse, right? And then he goes into a long note, which is the note you expect to end that verse on. Then the band changes key, but he's still holding the note from the previous key, so it's kind of like a tension, a dissonance.
Okay.
And then, after a couple of seconds, he finally joins them. Here it comes. There. Then he finally comes up. See, they're in a different key now. But then listen to this riff. Later, the riff shows up in the original key, I think. Listen to it later. See? Now we're back down. This is the original key, I think.
Highs and lows, baby.
And it changes, though. Coming here, it's going to modulate. That's an expected modulation, I think, just to build the song. I think it's unusual that when they first went into the riff, it was in a different key, like immediately.
I expect nothing at this point from
but that's
them.
just,
I expect them to do all kinds of crazy things.
Some of you out there may have noticed this has a slightly different guitar sound, like in the solo and parts.
I did notice that.
Okay.
Not the drum so much, but yes. Why
Well,
did his guitar sound weird?
Because he's using a different guitar than he typically uses.
Okay.
He's using a Fender Stratocaster.
Yay! Good job.
Don't you love that name? It's a Stratocaster.
That is a cool name.
Yeah. And I think he ends up using it a lot later, like at post Zeppelin.
Well, this feels more like your typical big hair classic rock guitar sound versus what he does normally sound like. And for me, I was just like, what happened?
I think it's just part of he wants to evolve. He wants to get news. He doesn't want to just keep doing the same old thing. And that includes changing his guitar now and then. Normally in rock music, you have a backbeat. It's like boom, bap, bass, snare, bass, snare, bass, snare. Okay. Mm-hmm. During that part, he actually reverses it. It's like snare, bass, bap, boom, boom. So just see if you notice that. It makes you feel a little bit different. Okay, it's coming.
And that's the reverse.
Right, snare, bass. In other words, the snare usually comes on the 1, 2, 3, 4. The snare usually comes on the 2 and the 4. There it's coming on the 1 and the 3. This next song is I think it's a short little song. It's kind of funky. It's the only song on the album that's not attributed to just Page and Plant. So I guess the rest of the band was involved in the writing of this. But all the other songs were just already written by Page and Plant. I think it has something to do with some incident they had at some New Orleans hotel, the Royal Orleans. Royal Orleans. Final song on side 1 of Presence. It's kind of jarring.
Take care how you use it. Try to make it last on.
It's kind of funky.
And if you take your pick, be careful how you choose it. Sometimes it's hard to feel it back. Feel it back.
Drum and guitar totally in sync there.
A man I know went down on Louisiana. Took a bad fight. And when the sun beats through, shot down on Eastern Senate, and kissed the whiskers left and right. Whiskers.
This is just huge here.
Now fight subside at a hotel in the quarter. I first checked in the
she does.
Feels alright when I step out, struck down with my sugar. She made my took like Mary White. Now one time love, take care how you use it. Try to make it last all night. You take your pick, be careful how you choose it. Sometimes it's hard to feel it right.
A short little song.
Yeah. Interesting progression from all three songs for side one.
Ah, I'm glad you said that because I think the songs by themselves don't stand out as much, but when you listen to them in the context of the album has a lot of different things on it, which makes it interesting.
They definitely make sense back to back as they presented them to me. So
That had to be a tricky song to play though, because there was a lot of just dead space. Like they just stop and then back into like a complicated rhythmic thing. So rhythmically that was probably complex for them, but they're a tight band. They play together a lot. So
no conductor needed.
I mean, I like that song. It's not up there. It's on nobody's top 10 Led Zeppelin songs, but it's a solid song. It's a short song. They needed a short song to finish up side one, probably. Did you know you could leave us a one-time tip or donation through PayPal or the thanks button? Here's the information. Thank you.
Thank you in advance.
Sure, your support is very much appreciated, as are our lovely patrons.
We love our patrons. Patrons love us.
They are the backbone,
They are.
the nervous system. They provide support that we need because we can't really monetize these videos for the most part. So their patronage is very important to us, and we keep putting out videos for them. If you'd like to join that lovely community, here's some information about it. Links in the description, etc., etc. And if you'd like to subscribe, I wouldn't argue with you. Since most of you haven't subscribed yet, I would really appreciate it, and Dev would really appreciate it. We would really appreciate your
Especially
subscription.
If you like pushing buttons. I like pushing buttons, so I'm constantly
she can
pushing
push buttons.
Whoa.
We're still kind of a new channel, so it really helps us out a lot. So thank you for that. And we love your comments. Thank you for those. If you like the video or want to share the video, that helps as well. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time for Nobody's Fault But Mine, and the rest of side 2 is coming. That's a very unique song as well, so that'll be interesting. Join us for that.
I'm telling you, all of these are just like, oh,
I love this album.
getting there.
But
Getting there.
it's
have
not
landed.
As Robert Plant said in the previous video that we listened to, it's not an easy listen.
Good.
So you don't just put it on with a glass of wine and say, I'm just going to relax and listen to Presence. No, it's intense. It's got all sorts of intense stuff on it. That's cool. I love it. All right. Bye, everyone.